Here's how you can make a budget-friendly organizer for your miniature paints out of a piece of foam board. I'm going to make a few different sizes for the shelves because I have different kinds of paint to organize. You can make your paint organizer any size you want, but for this one I'm making it 10 inches high by 18 inches wide. So this organizer is made out of one $2 piece of foam board from Hobby Lobby. And please do not buy the Walmart or dollar store foam board. It's just cheap. Treat yourself to the good stuff. I'm also going to use a cutting ruler, a mechanical pencil, an X-Acto blade, and a hot glue gun. I'm marking the height of the display and thinking of how deep I want the lowest shelf to be. So I mark off the back piece as being 10 inches high, the bottom shelf 2 inches high, and then I add a 1/4 inch piece to the bottom. You're going to see why I add that little 1/4 inch in a little bit. So then I go ahead and cut out this whole piece. Now for this next part, you want to carefully cut through the foam board, but not all the way through. You want to cut through just enough so that you can fold back the foam board like a hinge. Then you want to do the same thing to that little 1/4 inch piece. Just carefully cut through the foam board, but not all the way through, and then you can fold that little 1/4 inch piece to make a lip on the shelf. Now you don't have to do this part, but it is helpful to have this little lip on the shelf to keep your paints from falling off if you ever need to move it. For the two smaller shelves, I made them both the same, 1.5 inch wide with that little extra 1/4 inch, and I did that back to back to cut down on how many cuts I'd make. Once I marked off the shelves, I cut them out. Once you cut out the two shelves, you use the same technique of gently cutting through the foam board, but not all the way through, and just enough to create a hinge so that you can fold back that little lip for the shelf. Now we have the back, the bottom, and two other shelves for our little paint organizer. Now we're going to create the sides. I measure out two pieces that taper from 2 inches at the top to 3 inches to the bottom. And they'll be 10.25 inch high. The reason why you want that extra 1/4 inch is to accommodate the thickness of the foam board for your bottom shelf. Once you've marked those off, now you can cut them out. Now here's where you're cutting that taper from the 3 inches at the bottom to the 2 inches at the top, and you only need to make one cut, and then you'll have two pieces for your sides. Now we have all the pieces for our paint organizer, and we can hot glue them together. Now I plan to glue the side to the back and the bottom shelf piece. The trick here is to lean the back part back when you glue it. So this will help the paints to stay on the shelf and not tip forward. And I have my hot glue gun set to low so that it's not so hot that it melts the foam. Now here I'm just putting a little mark for the next shelf, and then I draw a line where I'm going to put the shelf. And then I run a hot bead of glue on the shelf. What you want to do is only keep it on one side of it. We'll glue the other side on later. And then I tried my best to glue it on straight. This is not a precise thing, and sometimes the foam board bends a little, so you just do the best you can. And then I repeat the same step for the last shelf. After gluing on the last side, I realized that the whole display was a little bit wobbly and uneven, so all I did was I cut out a wider piece for the base and glued it on. Something that I learned to help strengthen it is just to glue a small triangle in the center under each shelf. Now my little paint organizer is finished and ready to stock up with the goods. The cool thing is you can use the exact same technique with black foam board to create a miniature display case. I hope that helps you guys organize your paint area. Be sure to like and subscribe. Until next time, keep painting, keep gaming.